Right, you'll never believe where we are. We're in a little bit of living Northeast history here. We're in a building that's been a centerpiece for so many incredible events based around not just Tyneside, but Wearside and Teesside. And it's all happened here. I'll talk you through all of those bits of living history. But why are we here? Well, essentially, the building has one amazing ghost story, and yet it's not the most vivid ghost story, even though it's the most famous. I've found 4 stories of people attached to this building that have lost their lives in horrific and awful ways within literally 90 yards from where I am at the present moment. I'm up in what obviously used to be a green room at one point for all of the grand and prestigious events that they've held here since 1776, opening 1777. Just amazing. It's an amazing building. I'm in Newcastle's assembly rooms with the queen of the assembly rooms, Claire. Claire, how did you get involved with all of this in the first place? Because what a building.
I started my career here when I was 19 as a croupier, when it was a Casino Royale.
What?
Yeah, and my son worked for the nightclub that's associated downstairs, and they were looking for someone who knew where the fuse boxes were.
And that was it?
That was it.
Whoa.
So I showed them around and they asked me if I'd like to come on and help sort the building out because it had everything left in it. It literally must have had the door shut and gone. Chairs, tables, there was dishes going through the dishwasher. So I said yes, and then we got some investors, and that's the story. I've now become as general manager and director.
Whoa. Now, this building already, just from what I've seen, and we've just had like a cursory look around, is already well and truly on its way back to being as grand a building as it ever was. This was designed essentially for posh people, for prestigious guests, and keep the public at bay. That's the reality of it, because only poshies would ever come in here. You've got the big... Even to this day, you've got the little road that comes in and goes out again for the carriages to come round back in the day. A lot of the buildings around here obviously weren't here when this began, but you still have managed to get, like, there's half a dozen buildings around here with amazing history. You've got a county court next door. You've got the theatre that's 100 yards away. You're surrounded by amazing other pieces. Even the church has got stories attached to it that have direct bearing on this building. Now, when you agreed to let us come in, you mentioned that people have had experiences here already. Like what? Presumably people building and fixing the place up.
No, it was actually some of the staff from the club downstairs used to come up here for their staff meetings.
Right.
And we've had experience of some of the lads have felt being scratched. Some of the girls have had their hair pulled, and they will not come up here on their own. They come up in pairs, absolute pairs. Me, it doesn't bother me. I come in every morning and say hello. Yeah,
but you've actually confronted it, though. If there is anything here, you're quite happy just to, I'm getting on with it. I'm here. Yeah. No, I'm here. Move on.
Yeah, I'm not. I do believe in it, and I've got no fear of it. To me, it's the living can hurt me.
Right, for sure.
But yeah, there might be something that passes your eye, or I've seen a light go off or a door slammed. And I'm quite easy. I'm just like, hiya, it's only me, enjoy.
Well, the amount of history that's been in here doesn't surprise me that there's stuff going on, mind, at all.
Exactly. I mean, when you think of, you've had Strauss play here. Yeah. Dickens has done a Christmas Carol here. You've had King George, you've had Queen Victoria. You've had Britain's Got Talent do auditions here. It's had everything.
Absolutely.
And you're going to expect it. And I mean, it was for the gentry. At the end of the day, that's what it was. It's subscription.
But you're reversing that, really, because you're giving it back to the people, because you want open mic nights, you want comedy gigs, you want music gigs, you want weddings, you want functions.
It's a community hub.
You want to give it back to the people again, and I love that.
It's got to be back to the community. We are part of, also, Newcastle have got a cultural zone now.
Sure.
So I'm working with the Newcastle Arts Centre. I'm working with Generator Union.
Yeah.
To me, if I've got a room empty for the afternoon and I've got a dance troupe who are a charity and they say, we need some space and we've just been let down and we've got nothing on, me and Claire are very open to go in, look, just come along. Just come along, take it. It's fine.
Brilliant.
You know?
Interesting though that every female that you hear here has to be called Claire.
I know. I just think Claires are just so super. You know, and we're a dying breed. No, we are part of the gentry. Claire is that gentle.
I think some of these people have got designs above their station here.
Oh, we definitely have.
However, the other Ginger Claire, because we love the redheads. Right from the beginning, there were certain places in here that you didn't want to go. And you didn't, even on the walk around, I'm not walking up there, I'm not going along that corridor. No. What have you seen? What have you experienced here?
I haven't seen, but it's just a feeling when I go up onto the third floor, you know, where we went to where, like the loft part.
Yeah.
I won't go up. I just don't go back through that room. There's just something, I just turn around and come back out and go the long way.
But before that, there must have been, are you open to this kind of thing? Or?
I don't know. It's just something. I just can't do it. I can't go through into that room. There's just, I've always keep saying it, and I'll say it to Claire, don't make us go through there. It's not happening.
She wants that put in a contract.
It's just something, when you just think, I just don't need to be here. There's
Right.
Trespass. I just don't need to be here, so I just turn around.
As if it's someone else's place, and you. Mm-hmm. But you see, if you think about it, this whole building was a place where the poor were shunned from and kept out of. Maybe you're just commoner than everybody else.
Exactly it. I'm just in the common side of it.
But then we have to remember it was a hospital in the war.
No, absolutely. A hospital and a war. They had a war room in here as well.
Apparently, yeah. I don't know much about that because I couldn't find much about the history.
During the war, they took this building over originally as essentially somewhere to put disabled soldiers while they were being worked on, to give them false limbs. And I mean, false limbs back then were
wood.
Awful, shabby, awful things. But they didn't want people in the northeast to see badly injured people, burn victims and what have you, because of propaganda reasons. They wanted to give the impression that the British cause, we're doing fine, don't look at these people. And that's tragic in itself. And that, I think, also leaves a kind of stain. And then if they had a war room at the same time, where not working on what they were doing in Europe, but logistically for where northeastern regiments went at any one time, linked to London. So that's what was here. And if you can imagine, they also had one of those massive tables with people moving around where the aeroplanes were in here, which is amazing. I mean, I'm sorry, but when we're talking proper history during the war in here, right the way through from the 1700s, there's been incredible things happening. Now, the first 100 or so years, it was the land of the rich and the wealthy.
It was the land of the gentry. It was subscription. People came from all over Europe in the best dresses, everybody. The poor used to stand outside to watch this. It was like someone going down Carnaby Street and off the red carpet.
There was a bit of watching, bit of begging. There was a bit of both going on. But also, I've got stories attached to this building about slavery.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of rich people who had slaves, and they also had plantations and land across the sea. And it was around the time where the abolitionists were desperately trying to stamp it out, but it was massive business and it made people an awful lot of money. So this place is amazing. As for you, Nick, you're from Birmingham. You don't know anything about anything, really?
No.
That's it then. Right. So well, you've done very little in this building at all.
This is the first time I've been in here.
So we got no stories from Nick, but I just had to involve you because I didn't want to leave you out. So we're going to get started. We're going to do our thing. Newcastle's assembly rooms will be back very, very soon. It'll be open for you guys to come in and do all your things and attend all of the great functions, because this place was always renowned for Mark Knopfler, Alan Shearer, Sophie Ellis-Bextor. We've had like just a raft of superstars, one after another, all performing here, attending events. Back in the day, I've done some charity gigs here when it was still reasonably, not as shiny as it used to be, but reasonably shiny. But it's going to be shinier than it's ever been before. So just remember, the assembly rooms is back. But thank you very much for letting us
You're very
come in.
welcome.
You're going to lock us in now.
I'm going to lock
Certainly
you
are.
in.
Happy
We are
days.
locking
Bless
you
you.
in.
Thank you very much, Claire.
You're welcome.
Claire and the bloke from Birmingham. Thank you very much.